my channel. We're all about keeping it healthy and counting those calories ahead of time. So when you sit down to chow, you'll have a pretty good idea of how many calories you're about to devour. This way, you can figure out if it's within your daily limit or if you gotta cut back a little. Or maybe you can sneak in some extra bites. It's super important to know this stuff. And for all you protein fans, you can even check out your protein intake beforehand. So, let's dig into this the right way. Before digging in, you can always tweak the dish a bit, like adding an extra ingredient, boosting one of the existing ones, or even cutting something out. Basically, you've got some flexibility when preparing your meal. Now, today's dish is super easy and quick to make, and it can even be a solid pizza alternative. I've already written down all the ingredients for you, along with their calorie counts and protein amounts. Grab that zucchini, along with the carrots, bell peppers, and all the veggies and shred them up. You can either go old school and shred by hand or let the food processor do the heavy lifting. Me? I took the lazy route and used the processor. Now, toss in 5 grams of salt, mix it up, and let it sit for like 30 minutes to drain all that water out. After that, I am gonna saute it. Boom, step 1 done. After 30 minutes, you're gonna see just how much water came out of those veggies. Now grab a strainer, throw the veggies in, and squeeze out as much water as you can. Seriously, press that stuff like you're juicing it. The drier, the better. Just to give you an idea of how much water came out of those veggies. Here's the amount I squeezed out. And here's what the veggies look like now. Pretty wild, right? So I'm gonna put a pot or pan on the stove, your choice, and add about 5 grams of olive oil to saute the veggies. This adds around 100 calories, so instead of 1,100, we're now at 1,200 calories. I'll toss in the onions and give it a good stir. We're trying to use as little olive oil as possible, even though it's super healthy. But still, we're watching those calories. If you're not worried about the calories, feel free to go wild with the olive oil. It adds great flavor. As for the protein in this dish, we're looking at about 30 grams, which is pretty solid for a plant-based meal. Keep stirring everything until the onions start changing color. Once they do, throw in the garlic and mix it all together until the onions and garlic are nicely blended. When the onions turn translucent, stop there so they don't burn. Now, add in all the veggies and stir them for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then, lower the heat and let it cook for another 5 minutes until everything softens. After 5 minutes, it's seasoning time. Add 2 grams of salt taste and add more if needed. Since we already salted the veggies earlier, 5 grams of Italian seasoning and 2 grams of black pepper. Give everything a good mix until the flavors blend together. Use a big pan for this part, it'll make stirring easier and help the flavors combine perfectly. Cooking is always flexible and based on personal taste. In my opinion, adding milk to zucchini gives an amazing flavor. His step is totally optional. But I went ahead and added 75 milliliters of milk, which is around 50 calories. The milk doesn't have to be full fat. I used low-fat milk to keep it lighter. But again, let me remind you, this step is totally optional, you can skip it if you like. I gave it a good stir, covered the pan, and let it sit for 5 minutes so the flavors and the milk can all blend together nicely. After the veggies are fully cooked and cooled down, I'll start gradually adding the flour, almost like making a dough. Then, mix in the eggs. The mixture might look a bit runny, but don't worry, once it goes in the oven, the eggs will firm it up. Grab any baking tray and line it with parchment paper. Spread the remaining olive oil over the paper. Then pour in the mixture and spread it evenly. The size of the tray depends on your preference. If you want thinner pizza-like slices, use a larger tray. If you prefer it thicker like American style, go with a smaller one. Now, pop it into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 30 minutes. Keep in mind, ovens can be tricky, so keep an eye on yours to make sure everything cooks just right. After 20 minutes, I took it out of the oven and added the cheese on top. Then, I popped it back in the oven. Meanwhile, I started making the sauce. I grabbed a bowl, added tahini, some yogurt or labna, or crème fraîche, whichever you have on hand. Personally, I prefer 5% crème fraîche since it's lower in calories, but today I'm using labna since that's what I had. Next, I added lemon juice, salt, and pepper, and gave it a good mix. If the sauce feels too thick, just add a little water and stir until the mixture becomes smooth and well combined. That's it. This is how our dish looked when we pulled it out of the oven. I stopped before browning the cheese, just left it melted. I added a bit of parsley for garnish. But of course, that's optional. So here's the deal with the dish, it depends on how much everyone's munching. But it's good for 2 or even up to 4 people. I served the sauce on the side, but we could totally throw in a side salad too. A salad's super important cause it's loaded with fiber, keeps us feeling full, and only adds like 100 calories per person, tops. I could also add a slice of bread, like some toast, another 100 calories. So now we've got a complete meal. Our whole spread is around 1,300 calories. If we say it's for 2, that's about what each person gets. So our meal was around 1,300 calories. If we say it's for 2 people, that means each person would get half. With half the sauce, that's about 650 calories per person. Now, if we add 100 calories for bread, we're up to 750. If we throw in a 100-calorie salad, it's 850 for a full, satisfying meal. Now, an adult woman needs about 1,500 calories a day. And for men, it's around 2,000. Healthy eating usually doesn't recommend more than 2 meals a day, so we've got plenty of room for the rest of the day's food. Easy. The recipe isn't just delicious. It's super nutritious too. It's packed with tons of nutrients. You can get vitamins from the veggies, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, omega-3s, protein, and even calcium. Give it a try, and hopefully, you'll love it. Enjoy, and bon appetit! If anyone wants to know more details about the nutritional value, drop me a comment. Or, if you'd prefer a video on the topic, let me know as well. And if you're loving the content, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.